What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV. And as always, like to remind you guys that if you want to donate to my channel, you can do so on the links provided in the description box below. And also, I have created Patreon. And for the very, very low fee of only $2 a month, you'll be able to hear me talk about subjects that I can't talk about on YouTube in a way that I can't talk about on YouTube, totally uncensored and unfiltered for only $2 a month. Thank you for all those who have signed up on the Patreon already, and I'm trying to make it a nation over there, man, a Patreon nation over there. All right, because YouTube, I don't know what's going on. You know what I'm saying? YouTube used to be about us, and now it's become totally corporatized, man. And it's I'm telling you, man, it's a lot of stuff going on YouTube that's insane. But let me talk about Carmelo Anthony right now, man. Oh yeah, and to you guys, man, that's mad at me right now because of my LeBron James video, I've told you guys, I always give you my total, like, these are my real views, right? I'm not like Tommy Sotomayor, okay? I'm not going to sit there and just say what I think people want me to say. I'm going to tell you how I really feel about stuff. And whether or not that hurts me as far as subscribers, because I saw that I lost 7 subscribers magically after this last video. 7 of you guys unsubbed for me. So I guess you guys hate LeBron James, okay? I don't. But you know what? You guys will come back. You'll be back. You'll be back sometime during this season when, the media is praising LeBron when he's fucking up and shit out there, and y'all hear me ranting and screaming about LeBron. You'll be back. Yeah, I told you. Told you, Mike. You'll see the light. You see the light. No. No, it's not that I see light. I've always told you I don't hate the man. He just does shit to piss me off on the court. That's it. But anyway, we're talking about Carmelo Anthony. Shout out to Ticket TV because he did a live stream talking about this. Stephen A. Smith, who has a history of throwing NBA players under the bus, he befriends them, he used them for his own personal benefits, and then eventually he throws them under the bus. And he's done so with Carmelo Anthony, as he's done in the past with guys like Allen Iverson, LeBron James, James Harden, and various others. Okay. Um, he said in his mind, in his own words, that Anthony does not deserve to have a farewell tour. He hasn't done enough. There's not enough moments. There's not enough accomplishments for him to have a farewell tour. And he brought up the fact that, in order to have a farewell tour, you have to be a guy like his mind like a Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Michael Jordan, um, those type of guys, Kobe Bryant, that type of level of player to have a farewell tour. Now, this is my thing about that, right? Aside from the fact that I think Stephen A. Smith's full of shit, I think that's very unfair because, let's be honest with you, a lot of these guys don't have the opportunity. They don't get the opportunity to have a farewell tour. Now, Michael Jordan was lucky to have that because he came back. See, he never wanted to stop playing basketball when he was playing with the Chicago Bulls. But the situation forced his retirement. He did not want to be part of a rebuilding process with the Chicago Bulls. Okay? So it was a domino effect. When Phil Jackson was fired, that forced Michael's hand. Michael Jordan retired. Scottie Pippen moved on. Dennis Rodman moved on. All right? They ended the Bulls dynasty. But Michael did not want to retire. And because there was that uncertainty during the 97-98 season whether or not it was going to be his last year, it wasn't an official farewell tour, although a lot of the teams and the fans sort of treated it like it was one. You know what I'm saying? Like it was uncertain whether or not Michael was going to come back, but a lot of people treated it like it was one. His last year with the Washington Wizards, when he officially announced it was going to be his last year, Michael had the official farewell tour. Kobe Bryant, I think it was like in November of 2015 when he announced it was going to be his last year. Kobe had the farewell tour, but a lot of these guys don't get that. You know what I'm saying? A lot of these guys don't get a farewell tour. Larry Bird didn't have a farewell tour. Okay, just weeks after the '92 Olympics. I think it was week. It might have been what, a week after it was like what 2 weeks after the Olympics. It wasn't long. Bird announced his retirement. He didn't have a farewell tour. I think his last game was a playoff loss to the Cavaliers, if I'm not mistaken. Magic Johnson didn't really have a farewell tour, you know. He came back for that abbreviated, stint with the Lakers in 95, 96, but he had no farewell tour. Most of these guys don't get to have that. Um, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar had a farewell tour. Julius Erving had a farewell tour. All right. Paul Pierce had a farewell tour, but as Draymond Green told him, they don't really love you like that. You know what I'm saying? You're not on the same level as some of these other guys, but he had a farewell tour. Okay. So my point is, a lot of these guys don't get that opportunity. A lot of these guys are forced to retire due to injuries. A lot of these guys are forced to retire due to the fact that they just get no opportunities. They don't get an opportunity to play in the NBA anymore. The guys don't want them. We all heard about Jeremy Lin. You know what I'm saying? I remember that Lin sanity shit. Oh my God, it used to get on my goddamn nerves, man. Jeremy Lin has done in his first 5 games of his career what Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant were not able to do. Find out later and we'll tell you what that was. Oh my God. You know, oh, woe is me. Oh, woe is me. I'm not able to get opportunity, even though I just won championship. But yeah, but my thing about Carmelo Anthony is this, man. No, he's not on the same level as those other guys. But I think any NBA player who has played at the level that he's played as long as he has, and has accomplished as much as he's accomplished, they should be able to have some type of farewell tour. You know what I'm saying? Uh, if the opportunity presented itself. Yeah. Allen Iverson, I think, got done dirty. You know what I'm saying? Allen Iverson, in my opinion, had the second greatest cultural impact of any NBA player other than Michael Jordan. And he was denied a farewell tour. He had to go play overseas. Last team I think he played was the Grizzlies. And he was expected to come off the bench. This is a guy that was the face of the NBA just a couple of years earlier. Him and Kobe Bryant. And he was relegated to that. I thought it was disgraceful. But Allen Iverson never won a championship. You know what I'm saying? Charles Barkley never won a championship. John Stockton never won a championship. Carmelo never won a championship. Various players in the history of this league have never won championships. Okay, Elvin Hayes won a championship, but I don't think anybody would rank Elvin Hayes above Charles Barkley, right? But then I remember Stephen A. Smith he tried to he tried to cover his ass by saying, well, Carmelo Anthony never even appeared in the NBA Finals. So he was like, okay, well, that'll take care of guys like Charles and John Stockton and Karl Malone and all these other guys. They're Hall of Famers, but at least they went to the championship. At least they went to the big dance. He went to the big dance. Well, that might be true and all, but what's the point of going to the big dance if you lose all the fucking time? I mean, I get the argument. I understand what he's saying, but Elgin Baylor, he went to the big dance numerous times and he lost every year. And the one year that they did went to the won the championship, he retired 9 games into the season. Bad timing by Elgin Baylor. All-time great player. I think he's underrated by today's fans. Okay, but if you're going to be fair about this championship thing, LJ better not win a championship. But with Carmelo Anthony, man, a lot of it is bad luck too, man. Some of it's bad luck. Remember he came into the draft off a championship with Syracuse. All right, he won a championship with the Syracuse. As far as college is concerned, and for whatever reason that I still to this day don't understand, Joe Dumars drafted Darko Milicic instead of Carmelo Anthony. Now I love Rip Hamilton. I love Tayshaun Prince. But if you but when you got opportunity to get somebody like Carmelo Anthony and you draft Darko Milicic, I don't understand that one to save my life, okay? But let's say the Pistons drafted Carmelo Anthony, okay? That same year, the Detroit Pistons won the championship against the Lakers. So it's probably likely that if Carmelo Anthony was on that team, they would have won the championship still. So you come into the league as a rookie winning an NBA championship. So you've seen all these comparisons with Magic Johnson. He came into the league and won a championship just like Magic. Then he does something probably that Magic didn't do. Remember in 2005, the epic NBA Finals that went 7 games where the Spurs eked out the title over the Detroit Pistons. You would think that with Carmelo Anthony on their roster, that would have been enough to switch that result around, maybe even the Pistons in 6. So then you win 2 championships in your first 2 seasons. And now you're doing something that, well, hell, you're doing something now that hadn't been seen since the days of maybe Bill Russell? You come into the league winning championships. Matter of fact, Bill Russell didn't win the championship his first 2 years. So you're doing something monumental. Then maybe 2007, if you're still with Detroit and you've developed even further as a player and you're reaching your peak years, does LeBron James and his Cavaliers get by that Detroit Pistons team if Carmelo Anthony's on that team? You know what I'm saying? Does he get by that team? Probably not. Now, I don't know if the Pistons were beating that 2007 Spurs team, because that team was great. But it would have been a much more competitive finals than what we got, because the Pistons still would have had too many weapons. Okay, so let's just say by the time Carmelo Anthony's 25 years old, he's appeared in 3 NBA finals and has won at least 2 of them, possibly 3. Now, how would his legacy look? I know there's a lot of woulda, coulda, shouldas, but you have to look at different things. You know what I'm saying? Now, with this Pistons team being this great franchise now, this would lure other guys, other free agents to come to this team as other guys are starting to get older. Because now they're going to still have this nucleus around Carmelo Anthony, and maybe Detroit Pistons, the way they looked at is totally different than how we look at them now. So a lot of this is luck. A lot of this is luck. A lot of this is happenstance. You know what I'm saying? But when it comes to Carmelo Anthony, you look at his numbers: 24 points, 6.5 rebounds, 3 assists. First 14 years of his career, he averaged over 20 points per game. Won the scoring title in 1 year. All right, you look at his scoring average; it's comparable with all-time great small forwards like Larry Bird, Adrian Dantley, Julius Erving. Okay, his scoring average, I believe, is on par with a guy like Rick Barry. His scoring average is greater than a guy like Alex English, who's probably the greatest player in the history of the Denver Nuggets. I think Carmelo's probably second. His scoring average is greater than a guy like Bernard King, who's considered one of the greatest scorers ever. All right. So yeah, I think he does elicit a tour. He's done enough. And I want to end this video on this note too. You look at baseball, right? And you think of the all-time great players who may not have won a World Series ring. And they've all had, farewell tours, so to speak. Like maybe like a Robin Yount or a George Brett or a Tony Gwynn. You know what I mean? Maybe Craig Biggio. All of these guys who were great individual players, what I'm saying, had all these great milestones, maybe 3,000 hits, maybe 400, maybe even 500 home runs. You know what I'm saying? All around great ball players, but they weren't fortunate enough to be on a team that won a World Series. But only in the NBA, really, now do you see this overemphasis on championships. How many great players have we seen in the NFL who unfortunately were not able to win a championship? Nobody ever questions the greatness of Barry Sanders. But Barry Sanders had almost no playoff success. None, almost none. Because people knew the circumstances around his team. You know what I'm saying? Dan Marino went to the World Series his rookie year. Was never able to get there again. Not World Series, excuse me, Super Bowl. Dan Marino was able to go to the Super Bowl his rookie year, if I'm not mistaken, but never again in his career. And I think he played 15 or 16 years. Never again did he make it to the big dance. But nobody questions how great a player he was. But only in the NBA do we see this shit where, oh, he ain't win a championship, that means he ain't do shit. What the fuck is that about? I don't, it's stupid. It's stupid. Now, some people make the argument that because there's only 5 guys out there, as opposed to 50 guys on football and 9 or 10 guys, I guess, with baseball, that if you're a great player, you have more of an impact. And I see that argument. I see that. Okay. But at the same time, I think with basketball, with the way that things are now, as player friendly as this league is, it's kind of hard to win championships in the NBA if you're with an organization that really isn't trying to do anything. You know what I'm saying? If you're playing with an organization like the Denver Nuggets, let's look at the teams that Carmelo's played with. He's played with the Denver Nuggets, and they've won exactly how many championships? He's played with the New York Knicks, who have won exactly how many championships in the last 45 years? He's played with the Thunder. And what have they done in the past since they become the Thunder? What have they really done? Have they really accomplished anything other than the finals appearance? Okay. And the Houston Rockets. And what have they done since the days of Clutch City? Why is it that the Rockets are so adamant about building a championship team? Because of how long it's been since they've been a great franchise. So you look at these teams he's played for. He hasn't had the opportunity to play on any of these great teams. So in conclusion, I don't think you can only sit there and look at Carmelo Anthony and say, well, he hasn't won a championship, he hasn't done this, he hasn't done that. There's a lot of great players that haven't won championships, and they're in the Hall of Fame. And Carmelo's a Hall of Famer. Okay, he's a Hall of Famer. Whether you want to like it or not, Dwight Howard is going to be a Hall of Famer. You know? I think people put their personal feelings way too much into these arguments, man. I really do. Like, I'm not above that. I can get kind of, we all have our slight biases. But to sit there and say that Carmelo Anthony isn't worthy of a tour, a farewell tour, I kind of have an issue with that one. You know what I'm saying? I think he's done enough in his career to warrant that type of uh, respect from his fellow players, peers, and the NBA. Okay, he's done enough in his NBA career to warrant something like that. And to sit there and act like this guy has been this, they're treating him like almost like he's the black Richard Nixon NBA and shit. You know, oh, I don't want no parts of that guy. I don't want no parts of him. Oh no, keep him away from our convention. You know, don't dirty us with that Watergate shit. But that was so long ago. Look what I did for China. Look what I've done for USSR and the Soviet relations. Get away from